Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Rob's Little Blue Book. And tonight I decided, actually at the last minute today, what we're going to do tonight. And so we're going to do a comfort food dish that I really like. And I'll explain a little bit about it. I call it beef Fauxganoff. I'm really a fan of beef stroganoff. It's a classic dish, despite its sort of dubious origins in the hotel industry of the 70s or wherever the hell it came from. The old school, like, cream of mushroom soup and noodle thing is not what we're going to do. But people, we made that when we were kids. But in any case, the stroganoff that I make when I have time is, I'll roll out some, plates are already in the oven, but thank you. I'll hand roll out and cut pappardelle, and for the protein I like to use like a braised short rib, which all of that takes a long time. But the sauce itself, the mushroom sauce, is not difficult to make. So a little while ago, well, a long time ago, I decided to create a weeknight shortcut version that's just yummy and good and comfort food, and you can throw this together in about the same amount of time it takes to make mac and cheese. So, but before we get to all that, we're going to do a cocktail tonight called the Brass Rail. This cocktail is new to me because I was trying to find out ways to use up my Benedictine, which I bought for another cocktail for stream, and I don't even remember what it was. It was a New Orleans thing, and it doesn't really matter. But this was at the top of the list for most popular Benedictine cocktails. It's a variant of the daiquiri. It looks good, or the recipe looks good, so we're going to give that a shot right now. So let's get that started, and then we'll get on with everything else. So this is a daiquiri variant, so we're going to start with rum. Any dark rum will do here. The older the better. I got some Captain Morgan here, which is nothing super special, but it's not bad either. So I'm going to go with sort of 1.5 ounces of that. And we're going to do 1/2 ounce of Benedictine. And this is a daiquiri that's going to have a little bit of egg white in it to give it a nice froth. We'll see how that goes in a sec. I'm going to go with 1/2 ounce of lemon juice. Lemon juice to taste. And I'm going to pour most of it on the counter, apparently. Lemon juice to taste, but for me, I would start around 1/2 ounce. Seems about right. 1/3 ounce of simple syrup, and 1/3 ounce. Like, I get to a little bit. Egg white again to taste. I've just got like a little bit in here to give it a little froth. If raw egg concerns you, don't do it. It's fine. And a dash of bitters. I'm using an orange bitters here, which I think is right, actually. So that's everything. This is a shake and drink, of course, because we have egg white and everything else in it. So let's give this a little bit of a shake. So one thing, if you're super fussy, one thing daiquiris benefit from, which I'm not going to do tonight because I'm not super fussy tonight, is a dry shake. So we did a shake with the ice to cool the drink, and then at the same time you could also strain the ice out and do a dry shake to get extra frothy. Just seems like more than I want to do tonight. So I'm not going to. The other fun thing about this cocktail is the garnish is a dusting of cinnamon on top, and that's to offset a little bit of the bitterness of the drink. So we're just going to give it a tiniest little dusting on top. Cinnamon's very, very strong, so I'm not going to go crazy with this. But yeah, it seems good. Just a little color there, right? So there you go, guys. That is the Brass Rail. Cheers. Let's see how this is. Let's switch back. There we go. It's an unusual color. And it's really tasty. It tastes. It's a really It's a really mild tasting cocktail. It's a really mild tasting cocktail, and I think actually Serena would like that. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna run this over to Serena, and I'll switch to wine. But that's really good. I recommend this one. I'll be right back, guys. Give me a sec. Okay, I'm back. I still get super weirded. I always have a Matrix moment when I go to deliver something to Serena because of the lag in the video. When I walk into her office, I can see myself still on the screen, and then I walk off the screen. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Always a little weird. Okay, guys. So I kind of want to jump into this. We've got a fair bit of ground to cover tonight. So let's get right to it. Okay, so the sort of order of operations tonight is going to be we're going to make a cream sauce. We're going to set that to simmer. We're going to prepare our mushrooms, and then we're going to brown some ground beef, which is going to be our protein because it's really easy. We're going to put it all together. I'm going to use let's go on here. I'm going to use this pasta shape. You can use any dried pasta shape. I've done this with macaroni, rigatoni. I wouldn't do like a twisty shape with this sauce, but any of the two shapes is fine. Yeah, I think you guys will like this one. I mean, this is yummy. This is also it's just a good comfort food dish. Okay, so and welcome Kingston crew. In terms of other ingredients, we got some heavy cream here, got some onion, ground beef, mushrooms here. These I processed in the mini chop, more mushrooms. So use, cremini mushrooms for this one is probably right. Sorry, I like cremini mushrooms, but you could use whatever mushrooms you can lay your hands on. White mushrooms would be fine, button mushrooms, whatever they got going. This is not a fancy dish. So let's get on the cream sauce first, which is actually really easy. Okay, so we got our shrooms processed. Gonna start with some butter and onion first. So let's get a little bit of butter going here. The onions that we're using here. This is Sorry, I adjusted my camera so that I wasn't always like leaning into it. So it's not directly overhead, but it seems to have moved a fair bit since I set it up. Anyway, not a big deal. I'll just move this a little bit more forward. So we are going to just soften the onions. That'll take about 5 minutes. This is just built a flavor base, pretty classic. So this cream sauce that I'm doing here with the mushrooms and this technique is Thomas Keller out of his amazing book Ad Hoc at Home, which is kind of an interesting story. Thomas Keller has a restaurant called Ad Hoc, and he kind of fell into it because he'd always wanted to open a burger restaurant, like a diner. But he's a super busy dude, and he's got a whole bunch of restaurants. So a diner actually came up for sale that he wanted to buy, but he didn't really. So he bought the location, but he didn't have he didn't have any time to do anything with it. Like he put it on the back burner, and then it seemed silly to him that it was just kind of sitting there. So he was trying to come up with concepts for the restaurant, and one of the concepts he came up with was he's basically serving staff meals. So, his original idea was to prepare simple food that everybody would eat, only one thing on the menu, and everybody would have the same thing. So that's what restaurants do for staff meal. But then in talking to his staff, who were from all over the world, he learned that like staff meal in this area of the world was this thing, and this area of the world was that thing. And so he just opened the restaurant serving regional comfort food dishes. you didn't get to pick. You just showed up and ate whatever they were serving, and it was a huge success. And so it never became a burger joint. I don't know if he ever opened one, but he released an amazing. So Thomas Keller's a great guy, and obviously a super accomplished chef. One of my favorites, and I love the way he relates to food and talks about food and the way he treats ingredients. He's amazing. But let's face it, like, I have the French Laundry cookbook, and that's some pretty involved stuff to make. It's not the kind of thing you're going to throw together on a weeknight. So the cookbook, he released a cookbook for ad hoc at home. Well, I guess the restaurant's just ad hoc, but the cookbook's Hey Paul is ad hoc at home, and it's just great. It's just really great comfort food. But you get Thomas Keller's sort of attention to detail and the way he thinks about ingredients sort of incorporated into all that. So if you're looking for, like, I don't want to say entry-level Thomas Keller, because it's not exactly it, but it's very accessible, and anybody can do it. Anybody can do the recipes in that book. Just fantastic tips. One of my favorite books. Okay, so let's get back on this. So we get the onions going here. Okay, so now that I got some good color on the onions, don't rush your onions like this, guys. I've probably gone too fast on this, but I got good color here, so we're going to move on. These were processed just in a food processor. So this is, so I'm making, well, actually, I don't know what my portions are here. This is probably going to serve 4 people. So I've started with, this is half a pound of cremini in here, and the other half, which we're going to saute and leave whole, well, 1/4 inch, is another half pound. But this puts the mushroom in the sauce. Now we do want to cook with always when you're cooking mushrooms, you can tell when they're done. We want to keep these going, and all of a sudden they're just going to release a ton of liquid, which we're going to evaporate, boil away basically. And then we know we're done. This is going to take about 7 or 8 minutes probably. So that'll take us to probably 7:20. Okay, so any questions so far? This is a really straightforward dish. I want to hear from Serena on the brass rail. She has to say, maybe she can tell us what she thinks of it. There, I don't know if you guys can see some of the liquid starting to shed already. So I do want to talk as well, guys, about the next couple of weeks. I've got some ideas. I'm always open to input for you guys. But one of the things I was actually considering for tonight, but I just couldn't put it together in time, was arancini, which is well, it's a deep fried risotto ball, and they are wonderful. They get a bad rap because okay, well that's Serena. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Serena, for those of you who aren't following chat at home or whatever, it says it's tasty, light in flavor, and the cinnamon rounds out the flavor profile, which is exactly what's supposed to happen. I'm pretty happy with that cocktail. I'd make that one again, and honestly, I can't say that of a lot of the cocktails we've been making lately. And we're gonna get, of course, and we're gonna season these as we go. So just a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper here. So, and I'm using heavy cream. Yeah, so geez, I'm probably going to do that next week, so I'll give you a heads up. Sorry, an arancini gets a bad rap because if you order in a restaurant, it's like leftover risotto wrapped around mozzarella cheese and deep fried and served with a marinara sauce, and that is not what arancini is. Everything about what they serve here is wrong. Is well, first of all, what I just described isn't arancini; it's a croquette, which is a totally different thing, and that's not bad. But don't call it arancini. So I'm gonna go through the whole process of how to do that next week. It's not hard, and it's a wonderful dish. It's a dish. but that'll be next week, and the week after, probably. I'm gonna revisit carbonara. I've been making a lot of carbonara lately, and researching it, and going through my technique and finding out what I like. Sort of adapting different chefs' techniques, and so I've updated my. Unfortunately, I had to make the first revision in the little. I don't have it here, but in the little blue book. So normally, when I set a recipe out in the little blue book, it stays in there unchanged because, to me, I've kind of not nailed it, but it doesn't go in the little blue book until I've made it a lot of times and I really, really like it. And I love the version that I originally put in the little blue book. But I figured out how to make it better. And not only better, like significantly better. I still love the original version, but the different variations I've been making and the little adaptations and tweaks to the technique have really, for me, elevated the dish. And I want to share that with you guys. So that'll probably be in a couple of weeks. So in terms of, and I'm open to input, but in terms of the next couple of weeks, this is all done. I kind of think I'm set on stream ideas, which is good. It's a good place for me to be because I don't want to run out of ideas. I don't think I'll ever run out of ideas, but I want it to be good for you guys too. So I don't know if you guys can see, like, a lot of my liquid's gone already. It doesn't quite have the color and texture I want yet, but it'll get there. So what we're going to do with this is actually going to simmer as long as I can wait. We're going to add cream to this. I just realized somehow I have to get the blender down because I want to blend this after. You could, well, you'll see when we get there, you could just leave it rustic, and I've done that in the past too. We'll see when we get there. I'll decide. Normally I blend this and strain it, but if I don't feel like it, I'll call it rustic and we'll call it a day. Okay. I want this to go just like another minute or so. The food can looks okay though. It's kind of in the wrong place. I noticed when I was rolling at the pasta, I'm like constantly putting my head under the camera, and I mean, it just gets in the way, right? It's a little distracting, so try to pull it back a little bit. We'll see how it goes. I'm also hoping that I don't fog the lens nearly as much as I used to. Okay, so this is good. So this is heavy cream. This is a cup and a half of heavy cream, whipping cream. And we're just going to bring that to a boil. And I'm going to tweak it at the end. Once this comes up to a boil, with just a little bit of sour cream. Now, if you can find creme fraiche, or you can have time to make it yourself, takes a couple of days, do that. But I'm going to cheat and use sour cream, which is just gives it a little more flavor, a little more character. All right, let's get this heat up, and then we'll throw this on the stove, and then we go on to the next step. Any questions so far? This should come up fast. I'm toying with the idea. I really like having the flame here, but I'm also toying with the idea of getting an induction burner for stream. The only thing is, so the reason I didn't get induction in the first place, because I love induction burners, is they have a big fan in them and they're really loud. Or some of them are really loud. And I already have to unplug the fridge because it's really loud in the background. And I didn't want to have also another loud thing. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, so that's coming up to a boil, which is perfect. I do. So when you're making anything, you're trying to thicken something with cream, you do want to let it come up to like a full boil for just a couple of minutes, or it won't thicken. I don't know why, but it won't. But once this is going, we're going to put this on the stove to simmer, and we're going to move on to the next. We might actually brown the ground beef at the same time. I might have to use the stove a little bit here, or we'll be here all night. I don't want. So this is the kind of thing, like, I'm doing this sequentially for stream, but if you were doing this at home, you could just knock this together a lot faster than it's going to take me tonight. Okay, so that's good. So that's going to go over here. And we're going to do mushrooms next, I think. And so here's the thing with mushrooms. Like, there's a couple ways to do it. And we are going to do it the less fussy way, I think, tonight, because that's the kind of mood I'm in. Mushrooms, you don't really want them to steam in the pan. You want them to get some color. And so normally when I do this, I'll do it in a big pan, and I'll actually flip like each individual mushroom. But I don't really feel that fits the theme tonight, which is supposed to be comfort food and easy. So the other way to do it is basically just stir fry them, which is what we're going to do tonight. Oh, this is a little high. Okay, so that's supposed to simmer. Turn that right down. We're good. So let's do that. This will be fun. So again, I'm gonna do it in butter. Obviously not shy about the butter, and don't be shy about your butter. If butter or fat is a huge concern, still use the appropriate amount. Just eat less of it, right? Don't make a larger portion and skimp on the butter. At least I would. Life's too short. And I understand you can shorten your life even more by eating a whole bunch of rich fatty foods, but moderation, right? I think I'm actually going to throw in, so I'm doing butter here, but I'm going to be doing it on high heat. So I'm actually going to add just a little bit of regular oil to get my smoke point up, or the butter's going to burn. So we got butter flavor, but I'm glad. Yeah, this place smells amazing when we're doing this. So in go the mushrooms. And again, we don't want them to steam, so we're going to have to keep these moving, which is fine. You guys can see okay, right? We're going to go up high on this one. Again, for this dish, we're going to kind of season as we go, like every step of the way. We're going to be adding a little bit of seasoning, just salt and pepper tonight. Pretty simple flavors. Okay, better. Maybe we will do this sequentially. I don't know. I have to do the ground beef as well, but I kind of feel we can brown out ground beef pretty damn quick. Do you guys have any what do I want here? Any requests? I know I just said, like, I got the next 2 weeks planned out, which I do, and I'm still kind of committed to that. But if you have any requests, I'm happy to entertain those as well. Always happy to do that. So there's different levels you can take mushrooms down to. And here we don't want to go we do want them to release their moisture, but I'm not going to take them down donuts, really. Okay. I'm not going to take them down a lot further. You can take mushrooms down until they're basically sauteed. Well, we talked about sour cream glazed donuts. Yes, I'm totally down for that. That is my favorite donut. Yeah. So we're not quite at we're just hitting that moisture release stage. You can just sort of see it happening a little bit. But I'm not going to go crazy on these. I want these to sort of, I don't want a complete saute where they shrivel up into nothing. But we do want to get rid of the liquid. So I don't know if you guys can see, but you can see that they're just starting to release their liquid now. I'm not going to take them a lot further down. I want them to have like a nice texture, like still have a little bit of like bite. And eventually we're going to get back to filled pasta, ravioli, agnolotti, things like that, because I still want to do that. I'm kind of waiting on a few things I've ordered before we continue with that, but we're going to get there. I convinced my brother Pete to make me a pasta board for rolling that out, so hopefully we'll have that soon too. Losing more of these than I'm keeping. Okay, so this is about the color I want for the mushrooms. Our moisture's gone, and as I said, I could take these down even further. I could make them, you know, really sauteed and small, but I don't want to do that tonight. So we're just going to go with them just like they are. Set those aside for a sec, and we're moving on to the ground beef. Not a lot to say about browning ground beef, guys. I'm sure everybody's done this, but we are going to season it as we go. Check on our sauce here. They do look good. This is, show you guys again. Look at those. They're going to be good. You guys like mushrooms? I guess you do like mushrooms. You think they look good. So this is definitely the one of the shortcut parts of this. So the cream sauce that we're making is the legit straight up full on version of the recipe. For your protein, I'm using ground beef here, whereas not normally, but if I was doing the all out version, I would be using like a braised short rib. Also really good. But that takes a lot of time, right? It is something you can do in advance. So you can braise short rib and just heat them up for this dish. But this is really high heat. Awesome. Okay, well, this is going faster than I thought. So I think this is lean ground beef, but I don't want any extra fat in my dish. So I'm actually going to drain this. And then we'll throw it into the can here. I knew I would find a use for lean ground beef sooner or later, so there you go. Okay, get this out of the way. Let's recoup. Let me get my bearings here and see where we're at. We got our meat brown, we got our shrooms ready to go, and I'm kind of waiting on the sauce to reduce just a little bit more, although it's going, ooh, that's hot, pretty well. So let's get our pasta water going and see where we're at. I told you this one was quick tonight. So I am going to have to get the blender down, I think, and I didn't put the sour cream in yet, but maybe I'll do that later. Let me see if I can get this down without causing a huge disaster here. The nice thing about a small kitchen is everything is within reach. The downside of a small kitchen is that what could you substitute for the mushrooms? You don't like mushrooms? Probably nothing. Like this is kind of like stroganoff is kind of a mushroom thing, Paul. So I'm not sure there is a substitute. Do you not like mushrooms, or are you just allergic to them? Actually, I'm going to do this over here. Oh, we'll get an answer from Paul in a sec. And I am going to blend the sauce. You don't like them and you're allergic. Well, that's fair. I'm not sure there's a substitute. Yeah, no, I get it. You'd want something like with a big umami flavor. But honestly, like, I just think that there isn't really a substitute for mushrooms in this dish. If anybody out there has a suggestion, throw it in the chat, because kind of at a loss. Okay, so this is actually reduced by quite a bit. I'm going to give it just a little bit longer here. And then we can blend and strain it and put this thing together. Yeah, I thought this would take longer tonight. Google says squash or pumpkin. Okay, I can see squash or pumpkin. I would think I would lean towards squash. Also, it's a little easier to get year-round. Yeah, I could see like an orange squash, not a stringy squash though. It'd have to be like something you could cube up or something. But it could work. Okay. We have to wait just butternut. Okay, yeah, I can see it. I can see a butternut squash. It would work. I mean, it's obviously going to be a different dish, but it doesn't. It would still be a good dish. Okay. Just waiting on the water and the sauce, but I think we're good. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this sauce simmer until the water's boiling, and then we will finish the sauce while the pasta's cooking. That's going to take about 12 minutes. So if anybody has any ideas or things they want to comment on, now is the time. I'm going to switch back. Face cam. Anyway, I do want to get down, see you guys in Kingston and cook for you guys for real. So we'll have to plan that. It's getting to be summer and it's going to be a good time to do that. I plan on having a lot of time off this summer, so gonna spend it in important ways like seeing family and stuff. Face reveal, yes. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Be nice to get on the road and head down. I'm really hoping it gets a little bit warmer, to be honest. Not a huge fan of winter, and it's warmer now, but it's not really where I want it to be, so got my fingers crossed for like some sun and warm air. Okay, so the water's coming up to temperature. Our sauce is doing wonderfully. And I think I'm just going to blend it and see. Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny, Attack. I've been like getting back into taking photographs. So I upgraded the stream cameras because I wanted better images and I wanted better quality. And I used to do a lot of photography when I was younger. But because now I have these cameras they're great for stream, obviously, but they're also really good cameras. I've been taking a lot more pictures, which has been a lot of fun. So the lenses are good quality. They are very crisp. Maybe even like a little bit too crisp, but you see like a lot more gray than I used to. Message retracted. I wonder what that was. Now I feel like CIA was going to say something. Oh no, it's retracted, not redacted. Okay, so let's get this. What do you want to do first? I'm going to do the sauce first, and then we'll put the pasta in. Oh, always salt your pasta water, guys. So for dried pasta, you want to salt your water pretty heavily because, sorry, not as heavily as it was for fresh. Still want it to taste like seawater. It should be pretty salty, but for fresh pasta, you salt it even heavier because the pasta is just not in the water that long. Tonight we're doing dry pasta, so I think we're okay. Let's get that in there. Get the timer going, and let's get this off the heat. Give it a blend and see where we're at. So you want to reduce this by about a third, I guess. But it's hard to go wrong with heavy cream anyway. Okay. Now, and the other trick too, guys, when you're, oh, I should switch back. Here we go. There we go. Anytime you're blending hot liquids, don't seal it entirely. Always vent it. I'm just going to take this off. If you don't, the top has a nasty habit of blowing off and volcanoing hot liquid all over your kitchen. It's not fun. And what do you think? Stir? I think stir. Okay, I'm back. And actually, geez, that's an excellent question. And it's actually touched on something that's near and dear to my heart. And you're exactly right. It is unnecessary. The main reason people say boil pasta in like massive gallons of water is because it is important that the water really not come off the boil when you're cooking your pasta. But you don't need a ton of liquid to do that. I don't know whether it was just when stoves were less powerful or whatever, or people just cooked more pasta, but it's completely unnecessary. But the main reason to not cook in tons of water is, and we're going to get into this when we next week, 2 weeks, when we get back to carbonara. The reason you want to cook pasta in small amounts of water is because the pasta water, the starch in the pasta water, that starchy pasta water, is so integral to the sauce you're about to make. You're going to use that pasta water. You use it in cacio e pepe, you use it in carbonara, you use it in Alfredo, like any pasta sauce that you're going to make in the Italian style is going to be using the pasta water. And if you boil your water in a giant stock pot, you don't get the concentration of starch that you need. So I don't know if you were around for the carbonara episode, but I started doing my carbonara when I cook spaghetti for the carbonara. I'll do it in a shallow frying pan, and I literally cook it in just enough water to cook the pasta, and I have enough left over to make the sauce. So you're exactly right. You don't need to have a giant pot of boiling water. The other reason that became a thing is because that's the way restaurants function when they're cooking pasta for service. They had this massive stock pot, and the water's continuously out of boil. But they also have those neat little baskets where they put like a portion of pasta serving, flip it on the side, and then they yank it out when it's done. So yeah, it's important in that case. It's important to have pasta water continually boiling. In a home kitchen, it's not important. And I'm going to go back. I want to revisit, because quite frankly, I've been also practicing cacio e pepe, which is for a dish that only has 3 ingredients. It's really tricky. I want to go back to that. I want to go back to alla gricia. I don't even think we ever did alla gricia. I want to do that. I want to do carbonara, amatriciana. Like, these are iconic core pasta dishes, and they all use that technique of using the pasta water to thicken. The starch thickens and gives you that nice, beautiful, creamy sauce without putting cream in your dish, which very few of them do. Like if you ever see a carbonara recipe with cream in it, that's wrong. You don't need to put cream, or Alfredo, same thing. Like, you don't put cream in Alfredo. That's not right. And you don't need to get a creamy sauce. So we're going to revisit all of that. I've been on a bit of an Italian tear lately, and I'm going to continue doing that because it's really fun, and I really like the food and the cuisine. So there we go. Okay, let's see where we're at here. Oh yeah, I'm straining this sauce. So I decided, since we have time, I'm going to strain the sauce. We got to wait another 6 minutes on the pasta here. I give that a stir. But yeah, I'm going to strain this. I hope I don't regret this. Already kind of regretting it. Well, Paul, if you're allergic to mushrooms, this is basically just like poison water, isn't it? Okay, now I gotta like force this through the thing here. Okay, you know what? I'm not sure this is actually going to go through this. See, what have I done here? I normally skip this step, but I thought I would try it tonight. And I think, it's working. It's working. One of the things I have to add to my kitchen, which I haven't yet, is to get a proper conical strainer, which is a very politically correct way of saying a chinoise, but I don't think you can really say chinoise anymore because it's, or you shouldn't say it. I don't think you can. I'm not, but I think it literally translates a Chinaman's hat or something, and it's just because of the shape of the damn thing. But conical strainer works too, and it's probably a lot more, or a lot less racist, I guess, which is important. Okay, so I'm not unhappy with this training. I'm kind of happy. Switch cams. Oh my god, you guys came to see what I'm doing. Okay, so you missed the straining part. It was a big pain in the ass, but I'm happy with the results. There you go. Making a mess of my counter though. I gotta watch. You know what? I'm just gonna. Maybe I should just get in the habit of leaving the food cam. So that's our sauce, and we're gonna warm all this up in a sec. And what are we gonna warm it up in? Good question. Gonna need another pan here, guys. Break this guy out. Pray that this guy's big enough to sauce the whole thing up. So and this isn't really an Italian dish, but in most pasta dishes, once everything's prepared, you are going to finish everything in a pan over heat, which is what we're doing here. And I can actually probably start warming this up because our pasta is almost ready. So this is hot. We can add our ground beef. Oh, what I did, I said I wanted like a dollop of sour cream here, guys. So this is, by the way, sour cream. I like the Western Creamery stuff, but anything that's at least 14%, don't buy. Maybe a little. Don't buy low-fat sour cream. There's no point. So we're gonna get that stirred in. What do you think, guys? Do you think I have overestimated the capacity of this pan? I might have. We're gonna make it work. So you can see here too, as Ginny's speaking of the pasta water, is I'm actually, so I'm not gonna add, well, I might. I'm not gonna be adding pasta water to this, but I am gonna be throwing in the pasta like pretty wet. So I'm not gonna like drain it completely. I do want to thin this out just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So this is coming up, this is actually working out pretty well. And we got 1 minute and 55 seconds left on the pasta, so we've actually managed to coordinate this. I'm actually pretty happy. And again, guys, we're like only 50 minutes in, and I made a cocktail, and I did everything sequentially. This is the kind of dish you can throw on the table in half an hour. Not that you should rush your cooking. You really shouldn't. However, sometimes you do need to get something on the table. And this is one of those things that fits the bill. So you guys can see, I got kind of a low flame here, just to bring this back up to temperature. We're finished the cooking and everything, so I'm just really just warming it up. See how our pasta's doing. Seems to be pretty good. And as I say, guys, you can use kind of whatever pasta shape you want. I've done this with macaroni a bunch, and it's great. I've done it with rigatoni, and it's great. And whatever we got here is some kind of rigatoni variant. Penne is a little small. I don't know if I would do it with penne, and I wouldn't do it, well, you have fresh pasta, use that. Pappardelle would be great. You could serve this with, like, you know those German egg noodles, those broad egg noodles would be perfect too. Very forgiving. This goes with everything. But kind of the point of the dish of having this as comfort food easy weeknight is not to be using fresh pasta. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take this away for a sec. Be right back, guys. I don't know if you can see this part. You kind of can, you kind of can't. But I'm not letting this pasta drain too much. I'm kind of just throwing it in pretty wet. And I have totally overestimated the capacity of this pan, so I'm going to be careful here, but I think we're going to make it work. And as I'm using a little pasta water, I'm going to adjust this for consistency in just a sec. There's one noodle overboard. But the colors are a little washed out on camera. It looks okay. So there you go. I kind of feel like there we go. I'm going to let this sit while I get the plates out of the oven. Definitely something you want to serve in warm bowls. And I'll deliver Serena her portion, and then we'll do a little taste test. It smells unbelievable. Really good. This is my oven mitt. Very hot. Not that hot. Okay, let's get this served, and we'll do the taste test, and we're good to go. And this made a lot. I was kind of aiming for 3 portions here. I feel like I've got at least 4. Well, maybe not. Maybe. All right, we're gonna be eating hearty tonight. Okay, guys, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna leave this one out here because it looks like all architectural. I'm definitely taking that in a towel. I will be right back. And as advertised, I am back. Okay, so there you go, guys. I'm gonna give this a taste. You guys want to be able to see the dish? Maybe I'll leave the dish in the view here. Let me move some stuff around here. Put the dish here front and center. And now we go for the taste. Yeah. This is nailed the seasoning, which is good because I forgot to check for seasoning before I served it. This is a very hearty, satisfying dish. You have a lot of umami flavors here because of the mushrooms. And it's, you know, it's just really good. This isn't complex, guys. This is just a good hearty dish that this would be great actually in the winter. Like I know summer's coming up and whatever, but this is the kind of dish you want to come home to after like a day in the snow. I really like the consistency on the mushrooms. As I said, this is not like, I don't know if you guys can see this mushroom here, but, or this one here. Come here. You don't want to saute your mushrooms to the point where like they're shriveled up and dark, like the way you would for like if you were doing like a red wine reduction mushroom sauce for a steak or something. You want them to have some character. You want them to have some bite and some presence in your dish. Wow. Right now I'm just picking out, but any questions? This is kind of it. This is my Fauxganoff. Yes, I invented the name. Yes, it's a bad pun. Yes, nobody else thinks it's funny, but yes, I do. But this sauce, learning how to make this mushroom sauce is the technique. Because whether you go to the trouble to make fresh pasta and serve it with a short rib or a ragu, or not a ragu, but a braised short rib or whatever your protein of choice is, or whether you throw it together with ground beef and macaroni like we did here. Oh, this is macaroni, but you know what I mean. Both are right, and they're both really delicious. Really good. And satisfying and simple and just really good. Okay, guys, well, that's kind of it. That's all I had for tonight. I guess I kind of woke up in a comfort food kind of mood. And I wanted to make this for you guys because this technically, I don't think this is in the Little Blue Book yet. It should be, but this is also kind of an offshoot of the hamburger helper recipe, which is in the Blue Book, which we've already done on stream. So this is kind of a variant of that, the home-cooked, yummy, warm comfort food. So I'm going to hang around for just a couple of minutes if you guys have any questions. But other than that, we're good. And as I said, next week we're doing arancini, and the week after we're going to do carbonara. If I remember, I said both those things. But definitely come back for arancini. There's a lot going on there that a lot of people don't know. Okay, it's really good. Okay, guys. That's it. Everybody have an amazing night. Enjoy the rest of your week. Hopefully you have Friday off like I do, but if you don't, sorry. But I'll definitely see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.